You're thinking about sharing your experience. Who can you turn to? Who can you trust? Do you have options? The City of Brighton Police Department is leading the way in improving how they respond in assisting victims of sexual assault. The You Have Options program was initiated by the Ashland, Oregon Police Department, and the Brighton Police Department is the first agency to adopt the program. The You Have Options program focuses on changing two fundamental elements in law enforcement's response to sexual violence: increasing the number of victims who report and thoroughly investigating identified offenders. Law enforcement agencies participating in the You Have Options program won't pressure you in reporting sexual assault or participating in the criminal investigation. The program focuses on giving as much control as legally possible back to the victim during both the interview and the investigative process.
With the You Have Options program, I believe this program really gives a survivor the power back for you to move forward in the way that best suits you. We want you to know that you will have an advocate there provided to help you all the way through the system, beginning from first reporting through the very end of the criminal justice system. We're there to provide medical advocacy and to help you provide legal advocacy and even some information regarding therapy and counseling. We know that this is a very confusing, this is a very difficult time, and I want you to understand that I believe you and that we will believe you and that we will help you.
So one of our intentions with the program is to get kind of more people to come to us, meaning that we know that the victims are out there, we know they're being victimized, but it's one of the lowest reported crimes out of any crime there is out there. Some stats say as low as 5 to 10%. So we want that other 95% to be willing to come to us and kind of trust us.
It moves at the speed of the victim, and they're very much involved in the investigation during a partial investigation. Victims can choose who we talk to, the times when they're ready for us to talk to them, and when and if that case moves forward to the District Attorney's Office for prosecution. The last option is a complete investigation, which is an investigation where us as law enforcement have the ability to contact all the people that we feel like we need to in order to investigate the case. And the complete investigation is the only point at which it can move forward to the District Attorney's Office for prosecution.
The first priority of the program is to provide medical and sexual assault advocacy services. Attending to the immediate needs of the victim is paramount.
Every single person has been trained to believe you, to not doubt that this occurred. They want to believe you, they want you to heal. So with the You Have Options program, they want you to come in and at least lay the groundwork. So if you can talk to them, we want you to. With the You Have Options program, that's one step, a huge, crucial step to be able to take your power and control back. It allows you to say, I have control over this situation. I have the power to go in, talk to police, and be okay with it, and they'll believe me. They'll trust me, and I'll trust them.
You have the option to report an assault online or in person. Reports can be done anonymously. We encourage you to report with your choice of a support person by your side. And you have the option of having a sexual assault advocate or any other person report for you. You have options when reporting a sexual assault to the Brighton Police Department. You may choose to only provide a small amount of information, or you may decide to participate in a complete interview and request that your case be fully investigated. You have time to find out what option is best for you, and you can change your mind without any pressure from law enforcement. Providing even a small amount of information can be helpful in identifying serial sexual offenders in our community.
Law enforcement is responsible for the investigation, the identification, and the bringing to justice of perpetrators of sexual assault. Traditional means of investigation of crime has not been successful, as evidenced by the low reporting rate. So we've looked for other options to try to increase the reporting of sexual assaults.
The crime of sexual assault is such a personal crime to the victims. It really impacts their lives. It could last a lifetime, the impact. So really just getting the opportunity to meet up with the victim and maybe impact their life positively or somehow bring justice to them is really important. We really got to be sensitive to the needs and the different barriers that people have to report to us. So a big part of our program is trying to find out what the barriers are. It could be 100 different things for 100 different people, but we really want to try to focus on what they are and kind of address them so that we get more people into our doors and we get more information.
Because myself, like a number of different people, have people that have been affected by sexual assault, and I think that it's a really difficult decision with a crime that's as personal as sexual assault is to come and talk to the police about it and go through what can be a difficult process in the reporting and investigation of it. I think that the You Have Options program does a good job of addressing all the different things that people experience when they report sexual assault. And I think that through our cooperation with victims advocates and prioritizing medical and advocacy for every person that comes through our door, that it's a much easier program to work through, and it's much more committed to the needs of the victim during the investigation of sexual assault.
The You Have Options program encourages reporting of sexual assault even if the person never intends to pursue criminal charges against the person who assaulted them. When you contact the Brighton Police Department, all your questions will be answered before giving any personal information.
I think every one of us in law enforcement and most of the people in the community have known people who have been sexually assaulted, and the impact on them and their families is traumatic. We feel that many of the predators understand that their victims are reluctant to bring this forward, and so they will continue to victimize others unless this is brought to our attention and unless we can be more successful in working with the victims to bring resolution to them and to their families.
Sometimes there's a lot of victim blaming. I think society in general victim blames when it comes to sex assaults. I think when we hear someone was sexually assaulted, one of the first things that people say, well, what were you doing? Or why were you drunk? Or why were you wearing that dress? So I think that's probably one of the biggest things, victim blaming, and so that puts them in a shameful situation. Victims are obviously a part of our society, so they think the same way often. So it takes someone to tell them, hey, this wasn't your fault. This didn't happen to you because of something you did. I think with this program and the way the principles of the program is, it gives us the opportunity to really focus on what the offender did to put that victim in that situation to be victimized and go through what she's going through.
Yes, oftentimes many of the victims know their perpetrator. It could be their roommate, their boyfriend, their ex-girlfriend, their partner, their neighbor, maybe even their roommate. And they're afraid to go forward because they're going to get this person in trouble. Maybe they're afraid that they're going to lose all of their friends. Maybe they're afraid they're going to lose their family, their job, or maybe they're even afraid it will cost them their life if they come forward. You know, I think many victims are very ashamed. They're afraid. They are not believed by family members because oftentimes this can be a family friend or a family member. And they do not support the person because they do not believe that this person is capable of this. And many victims see a side of a person that society does not see presented, and they are afraid because of their status in the community or the way they come across that they will not be believed and supported.
Well, one thing a victim can count on when they come to the Brighton Police Department is A, that we're going to believe what you have to say, and B, is that we're not going to put any pressure on you to go any faster with the investigation than you really want us to. We know that there's a lot of different things that come up with these investigations, and sometimes they take an extreme amount of time. So we're willing to be patient with someone and really take the time with the person on an individual basis to kind of figure out what's best for them and for us.
Sometimes people at some point, either themselves or perhaps a friend or family member has had a bad experience with either the police or somewhere along in the court system, and they think there's no one there to help them, and they don't think that there's anything that's going to be done.
Everyone's path to justice is different, and the Brighton Police Department wants you to know that your case will be taken seriously. The Brighton Police Department puts you in control of the investigation, keeping you better informed and making you a true partner in the investigation. With the You Have Options program, the City of Brighton Police Department pledges to listen, take care of you, and believe you. So what's next? To speak with a Brighton police officer, call 303-655-2300. To speak with a victim advocate, 303-655-2308. Or fill out a form online at reportingoptions.org.